All right, the meeting's being recorded. Let me see what our people are online.
That's how we have.
It's just me and Thomas online.
Yeah, so that's time the food entices more people. So that's much greater. But I'm okay with the.
There's a lot more saying one place here, like leisure over here has been corrupted, so it wants to for CGI. Oh, my stance, we have realized that at least for this much.
We're gonna get welcome going on, and then you can say you're welcome, we'll get going.
Yeah. 10 minutes. Okay.
All right.
Okay, well then we'll, if you want to.
You're welcoming.
Yeah, and then we'll have him. Yeah. We'll have the. We'll have the. And then we'll go. Okay, we're gonna start right now.
Thomas, can you hear what I'm saying? If you give me a little thumbs up, you can hear the volume of my voice.
Oh, you heard me earlier, he could definitely hear
Oh,
you.
you can hear it. Okay, all right. Well, I'll say good morning to everybody. Welcome to our community advisory board. Hopefully more people can show up for whatever reason. You know, we get text messages or emails, people are late or have breakfast already, so hopefully more people can come. Our provost needs to leave right now, so I'm gonna ask if the provost could maybe just say a few words, and then after the provost, we'll have our college dean to say a few words, and then we'll just jump into the rest of the agenda. So our provost, Dr. Rafik.
Hey, thank you, sir.
The biggest applause.
I'm sorry to have to go, disrupt the order of things. We have a the vice chancellor for self-support programs on campus today. And they double booked me to be over there, to be over here. I was saying I'd much rather just chill out here with y'all. It's a much cooler vibe and there's food. But duty calls, so I have to run over there. But anyway, I just wanted to say good morning, to thank all of you for all the work that you do. I am terribly proud of the EDD program. And you know, I have had nothing to do with it, but I know that the community advisory board has played a critical role in helping shape the program and ensuring that the program is responsive to the needs of the community. I know that our students are wonderful, and that they come here and contribute a lot and also provide a lot of feedback insofar as what would make the program better. Because I think we should always strive to be better, as evidence of getting better. I was delighted to see that that our EDD program is now nationally recognized and nationally ranked. As I noted in here, number 86, dare I say, with a bullet, top 20% among educational doctoral programs, and one of only 2 CSUs to achieve that distinction. We won't name the other one. But we're coming for you, so no, but I just think that's, you know, one of the things that frustrates me about CSUSB is that there's so much great stuff happening on this campus. And I don't just mean like the things that, you know, make college fun or something like that, or nice new buildings, but in terms of the quality of the education we deliver here, it's phenomenal. And it frustrates me that more people, I mean, including like with the rankings, right? And rankings are good for what rankings are good for, right? When they're good, you're like, yeah. And when you're not ranked, you're like, well, they mean nothing. No, but like CSUSB is this program and lots of other programs on our campus are top tier programs. And what frustrates me is, number one, I think we're a little too humble. So we don't do a good enough job of kind of tooting our own horn, so that the rest of the folks out there can hear it. And number two, we're just kind of, we're overlooked in a lot of ways. And I think the EDD program is a great example of the high quality programs that we offer here, nationally ranked, nationally recognized, and we need and providing an invaluable service for our surrounding communities here in San Bernardino and Riverside counties, the IE more broadly, out in the Coachella Valley and everywhere. So I just, oh yeah, one last thing, our R2 distinction would not be possible if it weren't for our doctoral students and them actually graduating. As Dr. Romano mentioned earlier today, it's one thing to get them here, but it's another thing to see them all the way through. So anyway, I just wanted to say good morning, welcome, and thank you for all that everyone in this room does to make this possible, to bring distinction to our campus and to serve our community the way you do. So thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Now, talking, it's also.
You got it. Thank you for joining us.
Get some bread, get some bread.
I know, I got missing on the way out.
Okay, so, before, our dean, distinguished dean comes up, I introduce, if you don't know this person, we have Brian Haddock here, who's our chief of staff of the office of the president. So, if you all can, he came for the free breakfast. I don't know, you wanna say anything? It's up to you. I mean, I
No,
didn't.
President couldn't be here, so when we realized he couldn't be here, he said, Brian, I need you to go just to make sure they know we support the program.
Very good. We appreciate you being here. Okay.
Thank you.
Pablo.
Good morning.
And thank you, Brian, for being here. The president has been a strong, a staunch ally of our EDD program. So as you represent him, you let him know that we appreciate all that he has done to support us. And many of you may not know this. Periodically, he will call me, can you come and give me a report about the EDD program? Periodically. So I have to prepare reports, send to him, and go there and answer questions. But he has been a strong ally, especially in the process of reorganizing the program. When I came here, now 5 years ago, this program is a strong program all along, and has produced many leaders in this region. But there's always room for improvement. And one of the challenges we were facing at that time was a large number of students who had come halfway through their program, but kind of plateaued and were not moving forward. And I felt led to do a reorganization. Dr. Sharon Brown Wealthy, who is now retired, was like a silver bullet because she is somebody who has been involved in the EDD program in CSU from the time it started in the system. And she led it in another institution before coming here. So she was here, and I felt we needed to tap into her expertise. So she was willing to work with us. And when I requested from Enrique, he was a busy man and still is a very busy man. But when I asked him, would you mind stepping up to lead this program along with Dr. Brownwell, he consented to the request, and you can see how much progress we have made. I want us to just give that program Because when they set it out, restructuring the program, one of the tasks I gave them as a team was to do a study of all the EDD programs in the CSU system. So we can streamline our operation. Especially in terms of, that first year we dealt with dissertation accumulated units. We were owing more than $100,000. And so how do they pay for dissertation at Cal Poly, at Long Beach, at San Diego State? So this team did an excellent job of studying the system. And based on that study, we developed a protocol for how we administer our program and how we implement it, so that it aligns with what is happening in other CSUs. We will actually make sure that our operation is at the top. We use information from their practices to make our own better. That's part of why we're where we are today. Because one of the other things they did was do an audit of the program, in which we identify students who have stopped halfway somewhere and began to reach out to them and began to bring them back and say, you need to finish your program. That is how you got your R2 designation. because that foundational work of getting everybody back on track gave us a big bump that made us able to graduate so many to give us that opportunity. So I call those to attention to say, it's been at least 4 years of hard work, meaningful work. And one of the things I really appreciate about the work Enrique and Sharon did was that Sharon was getting, she was popping at that time. So she was getting, there's a limit to how much units she could get. But that woman did not look at the unit. She worked. She did what needed to be done. She was an exemplary leader. And she and Enrique were like two parts of a pod that worked well together. And I had so much confidence in what they were doing that we were able to get this program to where we are today. And I call that out to say, it's been a lot of innovation, a lot of change. And when you are doing change, it's often painful. It's not easy. And the other thing we did that is unusual is that when I spoke with both of them, I said, I would like for us to have a staff co-director. That was the language. A staff co-director with a PhD, a doctorate degree, who will be here on site, on campus, every work day. So that as our university, our EDD students come forward with questions, have somebody they can always see. So the idea of the position that Safety of Teeth occupies right now was initially articulated to be a director, but then when we went through the CSU system, there was no room for that title. And we were pushed down to use the title of program specialist. And Audrey Barker was the first person who was in that position. And through her work, we started bringing our candidates together to say, complete your work. What can we do to support you? We started doing those writing workshops and all those things. So I'm just calling your attention to the work these individuals have done. When we did our review recently, the external reviewer said to me when we met, this model of having a program specialist is something I've not seen in other programs. And that really makes your program exemplary. So I want to call attention to all these that have happened. Because as we're being recognized as an R2 institution, it's not without a lot of heavy lifting. As we are now ranked for the first time in the history of this university And we're not just ranked, we're ranked in 20% nationally. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And for us to be second only to San Diego State is a bigger deal because there are a lot of other CSUs that we used to be intimidated with, but now they're looking at us as exemplary. So I want to say, and CPED, I happen to have the opportunity to serve on their board of directors. And I know how much they look at our program with a lot of respect. And they reached out to Enrique and tried to use our program as a case exemplary for the national CPED program. So we are being showcased as exemplary. I call those out to say, look how far we have come. But it's not because of one individual, it is also a collective work. The leadership has done an excellent job. We have a faculty that is very committed, that is very dedicated, that is working with our students every day. And I want to give accolade to all of them for the work they have done. Candice has also brought class into this office, cleaning up a whole lot of things that needed to be cleaned up. So I just want to say thank you to you as a team. And I want to thank those of you who are members of the advisory board, that your suggestions, your input, and our president who has his eyes on this program. All of you have collectively worked to get us to where we are today. May I say before I sit down that it does not mean we have arrived. We have a lot of challenges. And some of those challenges come because as you try to grow, growth comes with pains. One of the issues that Enrique and his office have been dealing with in the last few months is getting our students to finish. I was just talking with Dr. Romano. One of her students was having a hard time listening to her about some of the suggestions she made about what she needed to do differently in her dissertation. And the student decided to make an appointment to come and see the dean, hoping I was going to assign her a new chair and all that. After I looked at it and saw what Dr. Romano had commented and looked at her work, I said, please go back and do what she asked you to do. Because that is the right thing to do. She wept in my. She wept because she came with a different experience. I call that out because we're talking about pain. The pain that goes with trying to be the best we can possibly be. But I told her, whatever I've read her suggestions, I've seen your work. What she's asking you to do is what you need to do. And you need to go back and do it. And I'm happy that she's finishing her work. She's graduated.
I wrote her name on the graduation paper. She's graduating.
So I share that story because it's an example. Enrique and his office have struggled in the last few months with students' reactions to some of the expectations. We want our students some students come into this program with a misunderstanding of what an EDD program is. One of them said to me, my friend did PhD and it took him 10 years. Why should I be forced to finish my program within 5 years? And I said to her, your friend did a PhD, you're doing an EDD. A PhD is an academic degree that is open-ended. An EDD is a professional degree that is structured. And your contract says you finish in 3 years, and at most we give you 2-year extension. That clause, that particular area is creating pains for our students. Because after 3 years, as they hear from the office, you have, it's only your 3 years, they begin to scream. They begin to feel the pains. But I want to commend you all that you're holding them to that contract. Because that's the only way we can get them to finish and move on. We have to communicate better. That's an area that we as a program are learning. So we have to communicate better. But I want to call our attention to say, as good as our program is, we have students who may not feel what we feel. And let's do our best to meet them halfway and support them. And just finally, everybody here, one of the areas that we also need to feel our students' pain is in the finances. And I want to ask Brian to take this to the president. We need meaningful scholarship for our doctoral students. We need ways we can get money to help them supplement and be able to meet their needs. This doctoral program does not have it. We only use money from our tuition to support students. And we are hoping that we can have some scholarships, some endowment that can help support doctoral students. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for working.
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask if I just noticed the camera. I was gonna ask this. Jacqueline, do you mind maybe switching
Oh,
seats
she's
that way?
leaving or not?
Are you leaving? Oh, because I'm saying that.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
well, good. Well, here's another thing. We should take back to the President Morales. We don't.
Okay, yes. Yes.
During our 5-year review, self-study, we did a full audit of our budget for the last 5 years. We discovered is that our doctoral students who work on campus or another campus who get the fee waiver, right? That money, in other words, our program does not get remunerated for the expenses related to people on fee waivers. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes, I understand.
Right? So, you know, we get somebody who works on campus and as part of their union bargaining unit, hey, they get either, well, it used to be complete, but maybe a partial tuition waiver. Is that that money doesn't come, there's supposed to be a money somewhere, a fund somewhere on campus that's supposed to remunerate it. We're not being remunerated. And not just that, the exact money that our program is supposed to be remunerated gets deducted from our program, so we get charged twice. So according to our calculations, it sounds funny, but I'm actually serious. The calculation, there's about $1 million that's owed to the program right now. If we were to get the monies over the last 17 years of what the tuition waivers.
With interest?
Maybe. So President Morales is aware of it. He knows about the provost is aware of it. But I mean, that's just like, you know, so we're like, imagine even to the portion of that money and figure out a way to maybe offer scholarships or something.
So who is the person that, or what entity is the decision-making body?
The board of trustees. It's the board of trustees.
Has this been brought to the board of trustees?
It was brought up 10 or 12 years ago, and the board of trustees voted that the doctoral programs are supposed to be remunerated. But it was never enacted. It's never there's no policy, there's nothing. So
what prevented that from happening?
I don't know. I don't know, but
We're doing research.
we're doing our research still, but this is what came out in our audit. So the thing is that it's exact same amount of money that in other words, the money is being taken out of our budgets which is supposed to be, instead of taking it out, some other fund is supposed to, then is really supposed to give us that money. It's a very strange
I
thing.
mean, I can't understand, if we know that there is money that is due to us. And there is the motion that they made to back the money. And they're sitting waiting for it to happen. If I were a cat and a bowl of milk was in front of me, I would be waiting.
Yeah,
I'd be jumping into it. I'm not sure who is not acting to make that.
I don't know,
I think there is in fact, the CSU system
As a whole,
is
this is the problem,
bad for
the issue, yeah.
in this process. So this was the way the program was designed. The program was supposed to give this opportunity to staff and employees to get their doctorate at a discounted rate. And it was supposed to be reimbursed to the program because the doctoral program is a self-sustaining program. But what we are finding out from the efforts we have put in place is that system-wide, nobody is doing it.
I mean, but the presidents can come together. And something.
That sounds a little logical, too logical, but yeah, right.
It's the most
Yes,
logical
that's-
thing that baffles me, right?
It does, it
I
does.
mean, it is, everybody knows what the problem is, and everybody is sitting back and waiting for the deal for that cat. But I've had too many cat ads, and I have these.
How does it work with other departments? Because I know, people who are working here, they also get degrees in, business and meaning. In other field, are they?
I don't know, that's something.
It's a different category because those programs are all on the state side, being funded through tuition at the state. The doctoral program is a self-supporting program. So the doctoral program is old because it's faculty, everything is being paid out of the doctoral program funds.
We're making the case that we should be getting the money.
We should be getting the money
Yeah.
for the doctoral program.
He's acting like something that.
Well, because, well, we're going through the channels of authority, so. We've already brought it to the attention of our
Every
campus.
step, right? They're gonna slow you down at every step because they can use of that money in some other ways.
Yeah.
And they're depriving you of the money. So if we sit back and wait for the higher authorities to basically take their own sweet time,
Yeah.
it's gonna take decades before this happens.
Well, we looked at the budget and we found the discrepancies recently when we were able to see the budget. And so that's when we brought it to administrators' view, and they are working on behind the scenes. So it's something that we just realized a few months ago, I believe, right? So we are working on it. And believe me, Enrique will bust down doors.
17 years late, right?
Huh?
17 years late.
Well, the thing is, it's not just our campus, as the dean saying, it's every other.
We should not care about the other campus. We can. But we need to consider what's happening.
Oh, no, because it's important, because I see other campuses because there's no policy. Yes. For ED program that said, you know, so,
But you just stated the policy that the money needs to come back.
I know.
That is the policy.
The thing is this, there is nobody who is taking that money and using it for something else. My finding is that the people who don't even know that this is supposed to be the process. I want the communication between you and Sam Soloka. Sam Soloka, who is our financial person right now, don't even have an idea about this process. So I think it started.
You're saying that
They don't know.
Okay.
So I think it is, what we're doing right now is educating our campus leaders about the need for this process to be implemented.
Yeah.
And so I think what Enrique is saying, Brian, is to bring it back again to the president's attention,
Yeah.
bring it back to his attention until we find a solution.
Yeah.
And I think I don't want us to get to a point at which if anybody internal is applying for the program, we say hold until we have a promissory note that your expenses are going to be reimbursed to us. It may get there. So, but we have to at least give the leadership an opportunity to study this.
Yeah.
And find
So
out.
really what's needed before before it's needed, Brian, is maybe just bring back to the president's office. I guess we need a, what do you call it, a forensic account. someone, not me, a forensic accountant who understands how the money's worked, to really look at our budget and then to understand this, so we can understand this issue.
Our campus auditor can do that job.
Yeah,
Okay.
the CC wanna say something?
Do you think, the faculty senate can be of help? Because if they can be of help, the first step would be to put a policy in place. We are having these problems because there's no policy that everybody can point to. So to me, the best bet would be to liaise with the leaders of the Senate and then make this problem, articulate this problem we are facing and see if it is within the red. I don't know if it is or if it is not. But since it involves faculty, it's something the Senate can take a look at
Yeah.
and come up with a policy. Of course, the policy will have to be agreed with the president and the provost.
Yeah.
But when we have that kind of instrument, that kind of tool, then it becomes. So whoever comes as the financial after the current person, there will be something in place that they can implement.
Yes, very good. We don't know yet, like I said, we're just starting off, so we're gonna start here. But yeah, that's definitely, I'm thinking it probably needs to go back to the board of trustees for the chat, for the system. Because probably what's needed is a system-wide policy, all the ED programs across the state.
I mean, I would take the dean's advice, I mean, there needs to be some urgency about it. And if the urgency is established by, we say to internal candidates that we cannot admit you until we get the assurance, I think that may be a leverage that we could do. We can continue to suffer losses.
Yeah. Okay, so I brought it up because Brian's here, so I didn't. Brian, I didn't mean to Brian. We're like, Brian.
Talking on email, absolutely from the chief yells, and so, but it's all recent that the president was copied and sent the same.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this. So I know he's aware of stuff, but all the money.
Yeah.
You know that nothing in this country talks louder than money. Right? Nobody can make free work and nothing happened.
Yeah, it is true.
Without facilities and all of
Right.
which cost money.
And probably the program is not asking the university to pay all at once. They are paying.
So, just a quick question, so what is the? I'll come back for him. That doesn't make sense. Once now, is that how the college is really merging towards the deficit? How is it working that down?
We're not running a deficit right now,
Okay.
but that is money we
All
could
right,
have.
so when you do this.
We are running, we are not fairly,
Okay.
we're not running it,
Yeah.
so we're fairly making it. But if we get that kind of money, it will help us not only to run more efficiently, but also to be a more opportunity to support students who need our support.
That is the challenge. Yes.
And scholarships for other kinds of things, like, sending students to see if we were doing for so long, and now there's no funds for them to travel.
And perhaps if we have faculty in that program, we need a full-time faculty that will be dedicated to that program.
Okay, we got.
I gotta stay on time, so.
Obviously, I don't know all the details, backstory of the money and all that, but.
11.
But we're looking.
As soon as I'm done with students who are going. I just wanted to make you guys privy to our website real quick and talk about what we've done in the program. Recently, we went to a completely digital system. We're keeping all files, within Teams and in PeopleSoft now, so no more paper copies. In the office, Dr. DomNwachukwu mentioned that we've done a lot of changes in the office. We try to keep students accountable for their documents. If we didn't have it in the system, we're contacting them, asking them for it, and then we have set protocols for students as they move through the program. By the end of certain semesters, they're told automatically what is due. So I'm just gonna give you a little quick glance at it. So this is our homepage for the doctoral studies program. right here. So these are all of our current students. So anyone who's a current student can click on this and they can have all the resources they need. Same thing with future students. It talks about our admissions. And of course, program faculty. So many of you might need this tab, and I'll be showing you that in a minute. So let's start with our current students. So right here in the current students tab, they can learn about their program, all of the program options, financial aid, academic calendars, commencement, continuous enrollment. It goes through everything. But this is the most important one. So this is program information. In this area right here, you will see the program plan or program guidelines for all active cohorts. So 15, 16, and 17 right now is who we have. 17 was just admitted fall 2023. So soon you will see cohort 18 in there because we're about to start their admissions process. So in each of these items, I'm going to pop up cohort 17 just so you see. So this is their guideline and handbook. Inside their handbook, it actually has a program plan. I'm moving really fast, I know. But in this program plan, it actually has hot links inside of it. So all the students know that for this cohort 17, for fall 2023, those are the 2 courses that they're going to take. After they take their classes in fall 2023, their spring courses, these are the courses. At the end of that semester, these are the 4 forms that are due for the student. And so it's outlined there. They can physically click on that. It'll open the form. They can fill it out. Then summertime, they'll know exactly what classes they're taking. And then they know at the end of summer, they need their Form 5. It goes on throughout the whole 3 years of coursework. It'll tell the students exactly how many classes they're going to be taking. I know many of you know this, but I thought I'd mention our courses are built in like a hybrid way where they are online on Fridays from 5 to 9 p.m. and then in person Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. But it's every other weekend, so they don't have to physically be here at all times. Yes, Dr. Jin.
So this is online. So
Yes.
If I go to form 5, right?
What?
If I go to form number 5.
Yeah.
And I click on it.
Yeah,
What would I see?
4 or 5. Form 5. So you said you were wondering about Form 5?
One example, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So let me click on it real fast. There's your Form 5.
Okay, now.
I'm gonna go, I know exactly what you're gonna ask right now. So this is not fillable like this, okay? You have to come over here and download it as a PDF. Once you download it as a PDF, it is fillable, you save it, and then you can email it to ED.
So now you're assuming that everybody will download, that it will be fillable.
Every student on this campus has Adobe.
And I have an Adobe.
Yes, you do.
But I downloaded it and it was not fillable.
Okay, and so that's,
So there has to be some. So it may be so because the platforms may not be consistent with the platform for which this was built.
okay,
Okay, so I use a Mac.
that's your problem.
It's
Sorry, I'm just kidding. I don't like that. I'm just kidding. I follow our tech here, so, I do understand what you're saying, and I remember we had difficulties filling in. Some people, when they open
I
it
have
up,
to create the form all by myself.
I'm so.
But
I'm
you're
sorry.
telling me what though?
When you
Everybody else
download it,
has
you download it as a PDF,
It was downloaded.
okay? And so when you open it in Adobe, there
Okay.
is an option where it automatically fills out the form. If not, you do have to manipulate it. You have to put the signature line
See,
in.
what I'm saying, I mean, I understand, this is fantastic, I really, compliment you on doing this. But what I'm also saying is that if a faculty person or a student has some difficulty with it,
They email us.
then they email you.
Yeah.
And what you could do is you initiate the form from your end, which then becomes fillable. You see what I'm saying?
If a student has a form, they can email EDD and we will initiate forms, but the majority of people can handle this on their own, and it's actually very common use on this.
I mean, it is the unusual person that causes all the.
And that's what I'm here for.
And that's what I'm suggesting is that to help a person like me to get something. So I'm on committee, right, where I have to fill out sign forms, right? I get forms that are fillable. I have no problem. But I'm getting problems from the ED program. So what I'm saying is that if you initiate it, just like the people who initiate forms on committees that I work on, you can initiate the form. You have the student's name, the telephone number, etc. written. And then we can complete the form by checking off particular areas, completing our signatures, the date, etc. And it then gets circulated back to you.
In a perfect world, that would work, but I have 56 students a year.
I mean, that's not much, actually. 56 students are not completing.
Let me finish. The handle of the forms, I'm not the advisor, so I don't know where the students are at in their program. I don't know what forms they need. I don't even know who their chairs
What
are.
I said was that if we are able to do it, then we will.
Then you can email me,
Yeah.
and I got it.
That's what I.
So.
Sorry about that, you
I
guys.
just pulled
We had
it
technical
up.
difficulties.
I just run the form system, it'll automatically put the values in there, and that can open it. But I'll just show you, it's actually, what he's saying is, it takes like 30 seconds, and it just automatically makes it available,
Mhm.
but it can just do it online.
Yeah, the button that you click.
Right.
Yeah. But like I said, I'm here to help at any time. Sorry, we had a technical difficulty and Zoom got shut down. So I have it up again and I'm just gonna
The
get
other
it.
question I wanted to ask you is, if it's online, I mean, who knows who's filling out what form?
We do. I'm gonna show you that right now. I'll show you what we
How come
do,
we're not getting multiple forms?
because I'm gonna show you right now. I got you. All right, so here are the milestones, and on this actual page, I'm back to the current student page, sorry, guys. Here's the milestone checklist, so this is the checklist as a chair that you can have for the student and or the student can keep it themselves. And here are all the forms that are due in one's place, so any of those forms, if you don't want to go into the program plan, they're available for you to check here. And then one more thing. This is the dissertation process right here at the bottom. So if you're a chair and you're working with your students, Stacy will keep this updated at all times and keep all the dates in here as far as your dissertation process. So many of our students just turned in their Form 9 and have gotten their information into graduate studies, so they can graduate. I put forth, I believe it was 12
names, yeah.
12 names for commencement this year of people who've already finished, but I have many students that are doing their final proposals and stuff, so we might have more names added to that. Of those are students from the cohorts 10 and 12 who are finally finished. Okay.
Will we get money? Because I was right that we are going from China.
Updated website. So yes, Dr. Stacy Ortiz has worked very hard on this website and the forums to make them on there. It does take finagling, like Dr. J said, to get them downloaded and such, and I'm always available to help with any of that. As far as student progress, that is held with Dr. Stacy Ortiz. So if you're wondering where your student's at in the process, or you're just becoming a chair, once the student completes their third year, or once they move to the dissertation process, they are the chair's responsibility. So we will be working with you to get those students pushed out. And it looks like I am done. And the first person that we have coming up is from cohort 15, Miss Lisa Davenport. Who is now,
We're gonna,
are you gonna announce it, Enrique? Go ahead, Enrique.
Thank you for all the work you've done.
I'm trying.
move things around on the agenda to accommodate, to make sure our 3 students, we don't mess up your days, your morning schedule. That's what's going on. You're wondering about that. Do you mind going right now? Okay, okay. So, before we set up talks, and then, Thomas, who's on Zoom, and then we have Pablo Gutierrez here in the back. We have representative from each, from 15, 16, 17, which are our active cohorts right now. But we do have an unofficial announcement. It won't become official to the College of Education.
This afternoon.
This afternoon is gonna give the official notice. But then after that, we'll send out notice that Lisa Davenport, who has finished everything, and at some point she'll officially be, did you, I guess you're a doctor now, right? I guess.
I have 2 more weekends of class.
Okay, yeah, and then you're a doctor, okay, so 2 more weeks, you get the hood, she's the doctor. She has been named and will be awarded at commencement as our outstanding doctoral candidate this year. Okay, so we invite Lisa to say a little bit about her experience as a student, as a candidate, soon to be graduate.
Thank you so much. I got some notes. I've appreciated this so much. Navigating this program has been a challenge, and that is going to make everyone's lives so much easier. And I also appreciate the conversation on scholarships, because educators don't make a lot of money, and I'm currently freaked out. How am I going to pay back my student loan? So I appreciated that conversation, and that would really open doors and remove barriers for students, especially students of color, marginal students. We need to get more students into the doctoral program, and that would really open up opportunities. Thank you, Dr. Murillo, for inviting me to speak. Is it okay for me to sit here?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Cool. I'm honored to talk about our work, and when I say our, I refer to cohort 15. My name is Lisa Davenport. I completed my master's degree here at Cal State San Bernardino in the TESOL program. Teaching English to speakers of other languages, and I now teach ESL at College of the Desert in Palm Desert. I teach adult immigrants. I've taught a couple of international cohorts, but my wheelhouse is low beginners, students who speak little to no English. I'm their first teacher when they come in, and I love my job. They are being taught by a sub right now. I wanted to be here and get this opportunity. But watching those students grow from not being able to say anything to being able to speak with me and have conversations with me at the end of the semester, then watching them go on and on to higher levels. It brings me so much joy. And I was admitted in fall of 2021 to the doctoral program in educational leadership. And I can honestly say that the last 3 years have been among the hardest that I've ever, outside of parenting, that I've ever experienced. It's grueling. Getting your doctorate is physically, emotionally, spiritually taxing. It's really hard. And it's also been the most rewarding and completely transformational for me. And as I'm at the end of it, it's hard not to reflect back. I saw you had our very first class up there on the calendar. It was Scientific Inquiry 7801, and it was taught by Dr. Nancy Acevedo. And Dr. Acevedo had us do one of those word cloud activities on that first day, where I don't know if she had you guys do that, but we had to write our feelings about embarking on this doctoral journey, how we felt about it. And I remember feeling nervous answering those questions honestly. But as I watched the other responses appear, there were two main themes. The first was, can I do this? And the second was, do I belong? We all felt that. We all had that imposter syndrome, you know, is this something that I was meant to do? This is something that people greater than me do. And I don't know if I belong in this space. And 3 years later, I know that the answer is yes, we can, and yes, we do. Cohort 15 is very diverse. Half of us work in K through 12, and the other half work in higher education. I spoke to, who told me what the students in their class who are English learners are experiencing, but the recommendations were grounded in the voices of the students. I talked with 10 English learners, students who they immigrated anywhere from the first grade to their senior year of high school. They started school in the United States. And then they graduated, and now they're living in college, still learning English, but actively and enthusiastically pursuing degrees. About half of them wanted to be teachers, which was really cool. We need bilingual teachers. The Inland Empire desperately needs the knowledge, the experiences that those students bring, but there's a lot of barriers that those students face to completing their degrees. So my recommendations in chapter 5 focus on both the recommendations from the students, the recommendations for out of my literature review and my study for changes at the state level. But I also put forward a culture, a framework for educational leaders to create programs and structures that support bilingual students. It was grounded in my theoretical frameworks of community cultural wealth, which was put forth by the CR Secretary also, critical race theory, specifically lab credit, and intersectionality to protect and develop the cultural assets that bilingual students bring to community colleges. And my hope is that I can now go forward and talk to community college leaders and help them create these structures to support students. That's my work. When we look at cohort 15 as a whole, our work is very similar in our focus on supporting marginalized students, students of color, disabled students. One of my colleagues, Sharaf Williams, just defended her dissertation, which was on the lived experiences of Black women in community college. Barbara Milliorn defended her dissertation, which is on students who are disabled, special education students who are graduating from high school and want to pursue higher education, learning from their lived experiences what they need to succeed in higher education. So many of us are doing really great work that the Inland Empire really needs. I pulled some data on the Inland Empire. I don't think I'm sharing anything that isn't known here. There are nearly 1 million immigrants living in the Inland Empire. There's a ratio of 1 to 5 residents is an immigrant in the Inland Empire. Also clustered in the Inland Empire are several, and I'm reading now, several higher education institutions, including UCR, Cal State San Bernardino, and private institutions such as University of Redlands, and Loma Linda University. However, the College Futures Foundation estimates that for every 1,000 high school freshmen in the Inland Empire, only 151 will complete a 4-year bachelor's degree. Within the Inland Empire, less than 25% of the population has achieved a bachelor's degree or higher, even though we're right there. It demonstrates the critical need for educational leaders who are focused on social justice and equity and removing barriers in education, not only in higher ed, but in K through 12. Students need to see themselves represented in their schools, but they also need to feel trust. And that's something that I have learned as a white woman of color, that it is important for me to be an ally to these students and for them to feel trust in me, something that I have to do in my classroom every day. Students who are from all over the world, they need to feel trust in me. My student participants need to trust me. And that ability is what I got. That ability to be a trusted ally is the most important thing I got out of this program. I know that I speak on behalf of my cohort when I express our excitement of moving out into the community. I do hope that all my forms are in, and that I'll be graduating along with 3 others from cohort 15. We want to go out and collaborate with the community and with the educational leaders. Michael Love, the future Dr. Michael Love, he's from RCC, and he is a leader among leaders of Black men in education. He has a nonprofit that collects ties for young Black men. And his organization teaches young Black men how to tie a tie, because he didn't have that as a young Black man in living with a single mom. And he mentors these young men so that they will come into education, so that they will feel those doors open and feel that they are wrong. Katie Burrell teaches psychology and statistics at Victor Valley College. She's in STEM, and her research is focused on Latinos, getting Latino students in STEM. And she boasts the highest scores in STEM classes. She was our STEM person in Dr. J's class. She boasts the highest completion rates and grades of students at Victor Valley College. Veronica Valdez, Gabriel Orozco, and Jose Aguilar Lopez from my cohort. They're on fire for ethnic studies. Not only talking about teaching ethnic studies, but bringing curriculums and into schools, teaching teachers how to teach ethnic studies and having the data to back up the efficacy of ethnic studies courses. I've only talked about 5 students there are so many more of us. And I can't wait to for what the others are doing, but this is the work that we're bringing back to the Inland Empire. And it is truly an honor to be part of this. I'm truly grateful that I'm almost done, but I'm really grateful that I was accepted into the program and for the transformational leadership that's been modeled to me and the strong foundation of social justice and equity and education. So I thank you, Dr. Murillo, for inviting me to speak, and thank you for your support.
Our next speaker is going to be joining us from Zoom, Tomas Robles.
How's it going, everybody? Can we hear me correctly?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sweet. I always love to start my presentations with a bit of a joke. Does anybody here know how much a polar bear weighs?
No.
Enough to break the ice. How's it going? My name is Thomas Robles from Cohort 16. I hope you guys are all doing well. I wanted to share that I am a product of the Inland Empire and its education. I went to Colton Joint Unified School District, graduated from Colton High, just like my parents and my grandparents did. Graduated from San Bernardino Valley College, went to Cal State San Bernardino, got my bachelor's, then went to UC Riverside to get my master's, and now I'm back at, oh, sweet, okay. Now I'm back at Cal State San Bernardino for my doctorate, and it's an honor. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I also wanted to share that I'm a product of immigrant workers from Zacatecas, identity that I'm just now connecting with. I was not able to connect with this Chicano Mexican identity when I was younger because my parents were just so focused on working and supporting the family. At the moment, I work at Long Beach City College. I would be there in person, but as you can see, I'm over here doing the good work over here at Long Beach. I work as a EOPS program assistant, so I work in EOPS. I wanted to share that we are ranked top 5 in California community colleges for associate degrees for transfer. Happy to share that. And here in EOPS, we're proud to share that we're matriculating over 1,600 students this academic year. So we're super, super proud of that. I also work 2 other jobs. I am also a social media coordinator at San Bernardino Valley College, my alma mater, and I am an adjunct faculty at University of Redlands teaching internet and social media marketing. It's funny, when I started the EDD program, I joined because I had a lot of mentors in the program and a lot of alum from Cal State San Bernardino. It's just where I knew I wanted to be. And I went to lead the Latino Education Advocacy Days Conference at Cal State in 2022. And I bumped into a friend, Dr. Deborah Grijalva, who's also an alum from the EDD program. I think she was cohort 10 or 11. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, how you doing? I didn't know you went to lead." I said, "Yeah, I wanted to check it out. It was very inspiring." And she had asked me, "Hey, you do social media at Valley College?" "Yes, I do. Would you be interested in teaching?" And she opened up an opportunity for me to be faculty at the University of Redlands. So thanks to Cal State and LEAD, I now teach and I have that experience. So it's an honor to have that. I also wanted to share, I currently serve as the social media coordinator for LEAD. Dr. Murillo has been so gracious to share that opportunity for me to help with the social media management of our LEAD platform. In that experience, I got to meet the inspiring and impactful Dolores Huerta. That was amazing. My grandfather would be ecstatic, if he was still around. So that was just wonderful. I also sit on the San Bernardino Valley College Foundation Board. I chair the Alumni Commission, and I sit on the UCR Alumni Association's OC Branch Board. So last things I'll share is I recently presented at the Social Justice Summit at CSUSB on ethical storytelling in social media. I would not have been prepared or even inspired to present if it wasn't for the EDD program here at Cal State San Bernardino. It's just prepared me for everything. It made me the professional I never knew that I could be. I didn't know that I would be just some kid from Colton, just using Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever for fun. And I could use it as a tool to inform, educate, engage, make education fun, edutainment, right? So it's been great to learn ways to do that. I presented at that conference, and I also presented at the CC Pro conference recently, sharing our enrollment and engagement successes at Valley College using social media. So our enrollment is up since COVID because, oh, sorry, I guess Zoom gave me a thumbs up. Because of our use in social media, we now have enrollment up, so it's been great. I wanted to share that I'm currently writing my dissertation on a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. We lost my father a few years back to heart disease, and it's been I lost him actually in my undergrad. Literally the semester I was graduating from Cal State San Bernardino with my bachelor's in the College of Arts and Letters, shout out. I remember it was so hard because I was the one that found him. I went home to get my shirt for work, and he had passed away of a heart attack at home on the couch. And I had to call the family, I had to call 911. It was it was rough, but that experience has really inspired me to want to be strong for my family, future generations, my community, my coworkers. But I'll admit it's a little stressful. There's a lot of pressure. So I came across a friend of mine. Her name is Dr. Marina Serna Palido, who just presented last year her dissertation topic on family achievement guilt at the University of Redlands. I was able to attend her dissertation, and it changed my life. I was crying, I was sobbing. She was just hired as the director of HSI initiatives at U of R, so shout out. But her research was like, we need this research done in community colleges for Latino males. So that's me. I am a trendsetter doing something new that's never been done in community colleges for Latino males. So it's great. I didn't think I'd be the first in anything in research, and here I am. So this study seeks to explore and understand the phenomena of Latino first-generation community colleges and their experiences with family achievement guilt. Family achievement guilt is essentially that feeling of guilt that you get knowing that you're pursuing your dreams, working your jobs and whatnot, but is my mom okay? Am I doing enough for my sister? Am I doing enough for, my partner, my in-laws? I am constantly weighed down by this, like, you're not doing enough, right? Even though I need to give myself grace and patience, like, it's okay, you're a grad student, that's hard. It's hard to move all the way to Long Beach and work multiple jobs. And even now I'm zooming into something I would love to be in person, but life has different plans. So thank you again for the flexibility. It's something I'm learning, but I'm just one story and one person that's experiencing this. I'm sure it's different for females, males, what have you, but this is a pressure that I feel every single day. I always feel like I'm not enough. It's a lot of imposter syndrome, and this research is just speaking to me. It speaks to me and usually the people that I share this with. So I'm happy to be doing that. And shout out Dr. Enrique Murillo, graciously accepted my invitation to be my chair. So thank you. We're doing that together. So it's been a lot of fun. Yeah. So I wanted to share a bit of the overview of the EDD program from my perspective. So the EDD program has changed my life. By the way, being on Zoom, I was able to get a script, so I'm not going to have too many ums, but thank goodness, right? So the EDD program has changed my life. The curriculum has allowed me to better be prepared to address the challenges affecting my home community, my neighbors, my family, my friends, all the folks that I am lucky to engage with every day, i.e. students and higher education. I was able to take this knowledge out to Long Beach. The faculty has been caring, patient, and guided me into my current career. I know their wisdom and this network will follow me as I continue my journey. And I always like to reference Dr. Ricky Shabazz, who I think was cohort 4, 5, or 6, but he's been a mentor since I was in community college. My father was fatally ill. I was working multiple jobs, and I'm at San Bernardino Valley College. Like, what am I doing? Why am I here? Like, what's the point? I could just go to Amazon or whatever. And this man just sits down and he says, "Hey, you doing okay, bud? Like, let's talk for a little bit." And I was just talking to the stranger, and he said, "You know what? I'm sorry that you're going through so much, and you have a lot on your shoulders. Why not you look into student government? I bet you do really well. You seem like a stand-up guy." And through his mentorship, I ran and got elected student government president and then student trustee. All of a sudden, little Thomas from Colton is student trustee, sitting on a board, advocating for student rights. And oh my gosh, it was an amazing opportunity. And that was Ricky Shabazz that did that for me from this EDD program. So I wanted to take a moment to highlight a few faculty that have really impacted me. So first, Dr. Enrique Murillo, thank you so much for everything that you've done. You've connected with me through similar shared experiences with our families. You've connected me to everything you could professionally. I feel so supported and loved. I'm sure you're going to be the mentor I call in 5, 10, 20 years from now. And I hope to pay your kindness forward as I learn to support future students in Long Beach or Inland Empire, wherever I end up, through wherever God wants me, right? And I know I'm the first to pursue a doctorate in my family, but I'm very confident I won't be the last. And it's thanks to your mentorship. Thank you so much. I also saw Dr. Jacqueline Romano in the room. I wanted to share, I've never taken a class with Dr. Romano, but every time I see you go out of your way to ask not only how I'm doing, but how my mom's doing. My mom is my world. I only have one parent left, and you always make sure, is she okay? Are you taking care of her? Et cetera. That means the world to me. The EDD program here isn't just your academic development. It's like how you doing as a person. It's the holistic development, and that's something I always look for in a grad program. So thank you, Dr. Romano. You've shown that you're committed not only to my academic success, but my holistic development. Finally, I saw Dr. J in the room. I love you, Dr. J. You're the best. I would have been a K-12 teacher in my undergrad, but I could not pass this math class at CSUSB. So I'm in the PAL's office, and I just was taking tutoring, and there was just this one math class I couldn't do, so I had to switch to the arts and letters track. And I remember thinking to myself, I suck at math. I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to be an educator. It's just not going to happen. And when I was in the quantitative statistics class with Dr. J, I remember thinking, I'm going to fail. There's no way I can do this. And it was me and my other peers. I was very vocal about my weakness or intimidation of mathematics and doing it. And Dr. J made it easy. He made the curriculum accessible. I felt empowered. I was surprised with my own ability to pass the class and with an A. Dr. J showed me that I should not limit myself to what I can, with what I think I can do. I should do what I can do. So thank you so much, Dr. J, for that. It really means the world to me. The biggest takeaway from this program, the cohort. The cohort has been amazing. It has been a second family to me. As you guys know, Cohort 16 is all love. We love each other. We've been together through highs and lows, in the mud and on stage at conferences. Cohort 16 is full of administrators, faculty, classified staff, school teachers, researchers, and one California Community College state trustee. So we're a very diverse group. The dissertation creation process together has been overwhelmingly supportive. It's been helpful, it's been great, and I admire and appreciate all of Cohort 16. I want to highlight specifically Maria Vega. She was recently appointed, or rather named Teacher of the Year at her site in Riverside. She created a cultural committee with a focus on creating and encouraging multicultural linguistic awareness, which is amazing. We're proud of her. Arthur Kimball, who's a president at County of Riverside Office of Education. He was named Principal of the Year in his district in Coachella Valley last year. I also wanted to highlight Audrey Milan, who I love. She's great. She is a high school STEM teacher. She was accepted into the Home Scholar program. She presented at the 2024 ERA annual meeting. She won first place in the CSUSB Grad Slam competition. That's amazing. Just this past May. There's another one on May 3rd, excuse me. She's voted VP of CSUSB's Grad Student Society. She recently spoke to legislators on Capitol Hill regarding the state of science education within the IE via AACTE Home Scholar Washington Week. And she was recently invited to the 2024 Institute for Teachers of Color Committed to Racial Justice Fellow. So she'll be doing that this upcoming summer. What a superstar. I have two more. I really want to highlight Kerry Neal, because Kerry Neal is like my best friend of the program. He's been amazing. He's the Director of Philanthropy at the College of Education and College of Arts and Letters. I wanted to say that he was appointed a seat alongside me with the SBVC Foundation Board. He's the best host at CSUSB. He hosts the best events, and he's the best DJ in the Inland Empire. So if you guys are looking for a DJ, Kerry is the best. You guys, I'm sure you love Kerry as much as I do. Finally, I wanted to share that we have a cohort member. His name is Daniel Alarcon, excuse me. He recently got married. He in the program was planning a wedding while doing dissertation and doing our exams and whatnot. And he invited every single one of us in the cohort to his wedding. I thought that was amazing. So we all got to party with him and just sharing the love, so it was so wonderful. I'm seeing an issue in our region regarding student connection. And it's not only in the IE, but it's in OC as well. Now I'm working at 2 community colleges. I see that matriculation rates are falling. From what students share with me, they lack school and home support, right? Even though it's there, it's just not super visible. I think you can agree that we can address this via better communication. And communication is like my middle name. With this in mind, I've started creating accessible, ethical, and engaging social media content for Long Beach City College and San Bernardino Valley College to better inform our student body on the programs that can better support our students' holistic development. Yeah, it's great to share memes, but like, you really got to tell a student, did you know we have a food pantry? You don't have to get food. We have food at the school for free. I myself am how should I say this? My life would have been changed if I knew Trio existed, Puente, EOPS. I was a first-gen student, knew nothing of school. My parents knew nothing of college. I went to Valley College because it was down the street. Now I know it can change lives. And now I'm part of that conversation. I hope that through the development of these engaging social media platforms, we can engage with Gen Z and inspire, especially the Latino male community, to come to school. And you don't have to work in a warehouse. Your life doesn't have to just be that. You can do whatever you want. And there's people like Dr. Murillo and everybody else in this room that are there to support you and walk you through the process step by step. So in conclusion, I'm so tired. I've never been more stressed and exhausted in my life between the program, multiple jobs. I got engaged recently. I'm engaged as of November. So I'm planning a wedding 2025 of August after graduation, I promise. But it's so worth it to be in this space. My heroes are in this space. It is just an honor to just be around everybody within CSUSB in our community in this program. I call my mom every morning, now that I live away from her. I call her every morning and I check in on her. How are you doing? She asks how my studies are doing. And I share how I feel. And she says that she's so proud. She says, I'm where God wanted me to be. You make your family and ancestors so proud. So yeah, I never thought that little Thomas from Colton High, who just knew that he was bad at math and liked social media, would be this. Thank you so much. You've changed my life for the better. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
This is you. Time for you, my concern.
I'm gonna zoom in so I can listen to you. I have to go back. I went to class at 11:30. I'm gonna say, but thank you all for being here. I'm gonna listen in. Everybody continue to have Gutierrez and Cervantes, Cohort Updates.
Nice to meet you all. So, I want to start by telling you guys who I am. So, I'm Pablo Gutierrez. I originally from Mexico City. So, when I was younger, my dad decided to come here and work in the fields. So, I luckily had the opportunity to come here as a green card holder and get the opportunity to be in this country and explore the opportunities it has to offer. Growing up in general, like my family always struggled financially, but they always looking to improve our quality of life and providing us the best opportunities for us to grow and get in life. So I finished college in Mexico in UNAM, Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México. I did a bachelor's of science in actuarial science. I think it was one of the hardest accomplishments in my life because the curriculum of that degree has a lot of math, like a very strong background in math. So for me, it was like I love math, but it was like a big challenge because it was like another level. So thankfully, I completed my degree. And after that, I was thinking, what should I do like now? I got a job after graduation in a bank corporation. And then I was in the moment where I was like, what do I do to do with my life? I was 23, 24 at that time. So I was either I stay here and build my career because I got a good job, or I just decided to jump to the unknown and explore the opportunities there. So personally, I'm very like, I believe in God, so I was just praying all the time to get a signal. So finally I got the signal and I decided to leave everything behind. And I had a family member that lived in California and I asked my parents to ask if they could help me like to settle here, like to look for opportunities, right? So I moved here and it was, I still don't understand how I went through it saying bye to my mother. My parents are separated, but I live with my mom and I had a partner at the time. So I just say bye to them at the airport. I got here and I was like, oh my God, like this is a different world. This is a different life. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, right? So going forward, I was just like looking for jobs, like in general for, I'm sorry, I'm making this too personal, but I just want to share where I come from. It's first. So, I was applying to any job like retail, like Starbucks, anything. Nobody was calling me. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I have a bachelor's, like I have good skills, like what's going on? I didn't know that if you have a bachelor's, they would never hire you because they know you're just momentarily there. So, but I didn't know at that time, so it's still applying. Finally, I got a job at Ross in stock. So my first day, I remember I was there at 6 a.m. and I was being trained to open boxes, to hang out clothes and everything. And I remember at the end of that day, I just walked out of it and I started honestly crying. Why? Because throughout my whole life, since I was a kid, I've been ambitious to have a better life. So I was like, I went through school, I got good grades, I got into this bachelor's degree with like math, like to have better opportunities. And I'm here starting from totally zero, like being treated like I have done nothing in terms of growing. So it was like, but I'm very resilient. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep praying and doing this thing. So going forward, I applied to another retail job. I was having two retail jobs at JCPenney and Ross at the time. And at the time I didn't know I could pursue a master's degree in the US because we don't know. As a foreign person, when you come to this country, nobody tells you, oh, if you have a degree, you can still pursue a master's or something. So I moved here with the idea of like, just see what would happen. So I applied, I went to school. I remember it was La Sierra University, just to get an idea of how was the process. I went there and asked, hey, like, what can I do? Do I need to revalidate? What do I have to do? So they saw my degree, my school, everything. Oh, like you're eligible for a master's degree. Like you shouldn't revalidate anything. So for me, it was like a shock. I was like, oh my God, wow, this is so life changing, right? Because I don't have to start from all over again. So at the time I was like, okay, where are my possibilities, financial like possibilities? And I was like, okay, there's CSUSB and there's UCR. So I applied to both of them. I remember I only took English in elementary and middle school, an hour a day. That's it. And that's what I'm using right now to talk to you. So I went to do the TOEFL and I was nervous because I was like, okay, I just been here for like 6 months. And I took the TOEFL and thankfully I was the only Hispanic. I was like around like mostly Asian students. And I was like, wow, I'm the only Mexican here. So I completed my TOEFL, thankfully I passed. And then I finished all the requisites for CSUSB and UCR. And at the end, I got admitted to both. Thankfully, I pursued CSUSB because I look at the accreditations of both schools and CSUSB offered the same. And the cost difference was huge. So other institutions like UCs are way more expensive and I'm being realistic, I'm here on my own. So I need to be financially responsible. So I decided to go for CSUSB and that's how everything started. But I started my MBA, Master's in Business, and I did 2 focuses, marketing and cybersecurity. For me, it was life-changing. Like next month, I got a job, I applied to different jobs. And I got a job at 2 jobs actually, one at College of Ed and one in graduate studies. So in graduate studies, I was marketing and recruitment specialist in admissions as well. And in College of Ed, I was an assistant professor, but I got that job first, so I had to quit that job to get the job at graduate studies. So everything started there, and then when you come from another country that's not in the US, you crave opportunities, because in your home country, there's not much. So in here, I was like, okay, what else can you do? What are there any scholarships? Are there any programs like conferences, study abroad programs? So I started to do my research, and I was able, I'm not trying to make this super long, but I got a scholarship to go to South Korea at the University of Seoul to do a study policy management, then to China to a summer camp program, and to Germany for a month for stress management workshop. So for me, it was like a great year. It was 2019. And then after that, I got a graduate equity fellowship. I went to HACU, the conference for Hispanic people that was open to other ethnicities as well. And then we go there to actually meet people from other fields and companies that actually embrace diversity and equity for us. So I had a great experience. I got an internship to go to Las Vegas to see how a business show was operated. And and then 2020 came, and well, it was like a different year. I was hoping to graduate excited with my family, but unfortunately it was not the case. Commencement came, I had to celebrate at home watching the TV with my mom far away, and I was like, wow, this is so hard. But I'm resilient, I've been through worse. So after that, I transitioned to apply for jobs after graduation. I got 3 jobs, but then I decided to go for Oracle, which is a technology company. So I was fortunate to get selected there after 4 interviews. And I was starting there as business development, then transitioned to recruitment. And then that's when I noticed that I didn't feel like I was having like an impact in any people's lives. So I was like, I felt way more happy or fulfilled in education when I was a student assistant, because I was able to make an impact on students, on helping out. And here I'm just like a number producing money. So I decided to transition here at Bias International Admissions evaluator. So I applied, I got a job here. And I'm basically, my responsibility is to evaluate bringing transcripts and documents for admission purposes for grad and undergrad. And then I was like, okay, what's next? I like education, I want to grow in this field. And that's when it came to my mind, what's next? And I looked at the EdD program. So I started to do my research. What are the admissions requirements? What can I do with this degree? How is it going to be realistically possible with a 40-hour week job during the time? And I met Dr. Murillo because I was preparing my essay for the application, and I wanted to make sure it touched everything that it was needed for have a higher chance to be accepted. So I went for feedback for him to review, make some corrections, make sure I was addressing all the points that were required for the application. Finally, I was again praying in for a signal, like, should I do this? Should I not? Like, it's a lot of money. I'm not making much in higher ed. So what can I do? So I got a scholarship for International Scholars Honor Society that Dr. Romanos referred me to, because you can only get that if you are referred by a faculty member. And I was fortunate enough that I got a scholarship and incentive. So I was like, oh, well, okay, so I'm going for it. It's a little scholarship, but it's meaningful because it's still something to help you out. So I got into the program. So far, I've completed 3 courses: scientific inquiry, educational reform, diversity and inclusion. And currently, I'm with Dr. Sombera in the, I think, well, I don't remember the exact name of the class, but we're learning a lot about like strategic planning. Currently, I think so far she's one of my favorite faculty. I love the structure of the class. It's very she gives us a theory, and then we put it to practice at the same time. So it's like complementary. And so far my experience in classes have been great. Like all my professors have been very approachable, very helpful in terms of resources, content, and basically the syllabus that they offer and the lectures that we take. I also am part of the AACTE Home Scholars Program. So this is a prestigious kind of like society, not society, it's like a scholars program that you get the opportunity. It's for ethnicity and marginalized communities. And once you're selected, they offer support for you to go or to other conferences to actually present your dissertation topics and get feedback and get help in terms of your doctoral journey. So you get to meet all these people from different PhDs or EdD programs across the nation. And it's been very helpful. I just went to Denver for the annual meeting, and it was a great experience. It was life-changing, very inspirational, and helpful in terms of the dissertation topic. I'm a very early stage in the program, but I'm thinking about doing my dissertation focused on international education. Just because I work in the field, and also as well, I'm passionate about resources for international students. I come from another country, so I consider myself international because I mean, I'm not adjusted to the system. I mean, no, I wasn't, now I am. But before it was like a different like adaptation process for me in general, like everything, like health system, driving, license, law, health, everything is such a challenge when you come from somewhere else. But thankfully I'm there. So yeah, that's where my topic is. I want to focus on what are the resources that we have at schools, specifically in the Inland Empire, to support the students to actually complete the degree successfully. And also I got the opportunity to be part of LEAD by Dr. Murillo. We went to the binational summit in Mexico City to build a partnership between a university that's called UAM in Mexico to CSUSB. So basically, the intention of this exchange program is to basically create that exchange program for a university in Mexico with CSUSB to exchange one student for another one without paying like a different cost. Like if the student from CSUSB goes to Mexico, he's going to be paying the same tuition as he was here, the same for the Mexico student if he comes here to CSUSB. So basically, that's part of how the College of Education and the like EdD program faculty are working towards the internationalization and the resources for students at CSUSB and as well from Mexico. Yeah, I mean, really talk about I'll be fast. In terms of my cohort, I feel like my cohort is very strong. There's a lot of very strong personalities and very passionate. There's a lot of passion for education and helping out like students. We have a diverse background with K-12 and higher ed. But like I noticed in all of them, like this passion of like really engaging and like, oh, I want to change this policy here because it's affecting our students in this way. I really care about like my students because they're confronting like racism or these challenges. So you see a lot of engagement during the classes and a lot of passion. A lot of other of my members of the cohort are looking to go to other conferences to complement their learning process like AERA. And they go to present and get feedback on the process of dissertation. And yeah, and I'm also planning to go with the Washington week to Washington, DC, to also as well for the same conference to get feedback on the topic of my dissertation and to go and learn actual from the education system, well, not the system, but policy making at the Capitol Hill. And special thanks to Dr. Murillo, who has been very helpful and very resourceful, as well as the dean. They have been very supportive of us in terms of anything. You're very approachable. You can ask any questions. You can basically ask for help in anything, and they will be willing to help you. So thank you so much.
All right. Okay, with that.
Oh, sorry, my God. I was recording him, he wanted to record.
Well, something I want to say is, we want to talk about maybe the open house, maybe it's announcement, just give some quick announcements.
Sure.
And I think we're almost done. One thing we need help with right now is recruitment. It's typical that people wait till the last minute to apply for our program. So we haven't reached that point yet, but in the next few weeks, it's coming up, the point where a lot of people apply at the same time. Nevertheless, we appreciate if anybody in this room or anybody on the Zoom could put the word out. Applications are open for the next cohort 18, which starts in the fall. And so that's the help we need. For our current students, for Pablo's cohort, we're having the open house. You wanna?
Saturday, 3 to 6, College of Education Atrium. We'll be providing hors d'oeuvres, and we're gonna have breakout sessions for individuals who want to be a member, dissertation chair. We'll have the students there as well. And so it's basically, we're gonna have the faculty profiles up on screens within the room. They will have a few minutes to talk about what they're interested in and stand in front of the students and say what their background is and what they're interested in sharing. And then they will have a time for the students and the faculty to sit down and talk. And so hopefully we'll be getting chairs for all of our students that do not have chairs at that time. So we really need faculty participation. This is the time the students can speak to you.
Yes.
Talking about recruitment, how actively are we involved in attending grad fair at other universities?
We haven't been active. I actually think that falls under Stacy's position. The idea is for her to go up. We've been very fortunate that we have a what do we call it? Information, I think we just call it information sessions. So every other week we hold informational sessions.
Yeah.
And those, except for this last week, we didn't get anybody, but before that, we can have anywhere up to 8 people, sometimes there's 4 people. So every other week, I mean, so there's a lot of interest in our program. A lot of people email us and ask us questions. Our issue has been, we don't know what works. Right, so we're like, we don't know if grad fairs are effective. One thing that Aitoa said he was gonna help us with is we need to have sort of like a marketing survey. How do our students learn about the program? Because you know, we've got the grad fairs before, to be honest. And it hasn't really worked out for us. This is anecdotal. I'm not giving you, there's no scientific, I don't know for sure. It's mostly anecdotal where it hasn't turned into anything. There hasn't been a return on our investment with the grad fairs. And of course, we just started doing the buses. And so far in the last few years, we've had more than enough people apply to the program just by doing that.
My experience from the grad fair that we did attend a few months ago, me and Stacy went to it. The majority of students that are at their grad fairs are looking for master's degrees. They're not master's students looking for doctorates. And so no one stopped at our table.
That's for this.
Yeah, for our campus, but she is not outside. She has not gone outside.
Yeah, but if we were to go to places like UCR, it
Mhm.
would be a different experience.
Yeah.
So I think we cannot make that conclusion based on what is happening.
Absolutely.
On our campus. And also, we have a tendency, not just with the EDD program, but across our programs, to wait for people to look for us
Mhm.
and come to us. It's important that we're more proactive. The boss advertisement is good. But when we have 2 program strands, the K-12 leadership and community college leadership. We need to, and we may need to have more conversation about this. We need to have 2 tracks of focus in which we have strategic engagement with the K-12 leadership. But they have principles, summits for both Inland Empire principles where they come together.
I was gonna ask you that, if there is some type of.
There are superintendents collaboratives.
Yeah.
Those are opportunities we need to begin to tap into. Even if you get 5 minutes opportunity to speak at those events and have a table while they are meeting, you will have a high yield in those type of things. So also, I'm having a meeting this afternoon with some community college people there is need for us to find opportunities to begin to engage with community college faculty. If we know the day they are having their faculty meeting, and we come with a table of information and sit there.
Yeah.
But those are the kind of who we need in the program.
Yeah.
As long as our focus remains on marketing to these audience, Enrique, you will continue to have a high number of CSUSB employees who will come into the program. We need to go outside.
Yes,
That's my question. What is the current composition between K-12 and higher ed in the cohorts? And what's the target composition?
Yeah.
And then what's the capacity?
So we moved over the last few years, we moved from maybe 12 or 15 people being admitted to the program to our target is 25 people, 24, 25.
Total for a cohort?
Total for a cohort, and we try to set it up so it's split down the middle. So 10 to 12, one track, 10 to 12, the other
Is
track.
that what's been accomplished?
And that only the last few years. Before that, it was only, I mean, we've had cohorts of 7, 8 people over the last 5 years since we.
Above 20.
Yeah, it's always been above 20.
And it's been about half and half?
Yeah.
It's always, we restructure it on purpose, half and half. And what's helped us out is a couple things. We don't require the GRE, no longer require it. We have a model now that what we call the executive model. So the courses are on Fridays and Saturdays every other weekend. I think that really changed a lot. Part of our issue is that we're overworked, and so grad studies helps us. So we work closely with grad studies, and they go out to the job fairs. And so our flyers are out there, right? But we do need to do more of the specific marketing that the dean mentioned. But we just don't have the human capital.
And that's why I asked, because I'm assistant superintendent in Hesperia Unified, and those kinds of opportunities where we have, I have networks of educational leaders in K-12, that if there is a need for that kind of marketing, if it's 5 minutes of the superintendent's.
Yeah, that's
whatever it is, I'm happy to help with those organizations or
appreciate
with AXA organization. I always get counselors and administrators, but with AXA as well, with regional events, there are opportunities. That would be a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Enrique, and we have sufficient staff to structure this. We don't have to hire new people. Part of Stacy's portfolio is this kind of work. And also we have Alina and Sheila, who are recruiters for the college. It is a matter of working. This is, like these meetings are once in a quarter sometimes. But if you attend 2 or 3 of them, it can be enormous. So we need to.
So you're saying if I go to Alina and those folks.
Let's start with our own staff. Let's start with Stacy in her program position. I now have monthly meeting with her. I'm going to be the one to take up this conversation with her.
Okay, perfect.
So it's going to be an expectation moving forward that our job would be to leverage the networks we already have in place. I appreciate your willingness to help us, and I would like to take you up on it and be able to attend some of these important events. I am going to reach out to San Bernardino County Superintendent's office to see if we can get also people who can help us. But this is very key. These are things we need to begin to do so we can attract, we can reduce the number of homegrown doctoral students and bring it, because we want to serve the community. if we keep having students who finish and work for CSUSB, we're.
But that's not a small amount though, that's only
Okay.
a few of our students.
Okay, so I hope
Out
so.
of the 22 students, maybe 1 or 2 will be CSUs.
Okay, all right, then that's great. Then we need to focus on that community service focus. And the K-12 needs us, and the community colleges need us, and we can do targeted engagement with them. So I'm glad we're having this conversation, and I think we can build on it.
I mean, even the community colleges have their own gatherings. I don't know whether they have something like a commencement, or convocation, I should say. Where we could have a date or like, I mean, there are so many community colleges in the same. We have some fantastic faculty who don't have doctoral degrees and could benefit from that. But like
Yeah.
Also having
I think I've done that, but it's sporadic. We don't have a schedule, like for every year, these are the things that are going on. But I mean, we've presented at, I think it's region 14 or region 11 to all the community colleges. We do maybe, let's say 2 or 3 things a year. And we do, in our announcements do go to the various listservs of the different schools in San Bernardino and Riverside counties. What is more rare is to go somewhere and talk to people in person, but they do get our announcements.
you know how announcements go.
Yeah, they're good to leave the announcement.
Yeah.
I think that an understanding of knowing the benefits to the staff at these community college that we're trying to recruit. So even knowing when the meeting is, we want to also know what is behind that college. So is that college paying half that staff's tuition? Or, you know what I mean? Are there any,
That's very good, yeah.
incentives from their place and our place? Would be a great thing to know going in, because that would be part of Stacy's spiel. Well, your administration will take care of your tuition because of our program.
You take the advice of being Dr. Smith here to target certain things at least once a year. I think you don't have to capture the entire enchilada. Just a few things, I think you can progress with very well. But I think that there are starting points. Yeah, I am honestly speaking, I don't want this to become, but I am sometimes perplexed as to how certain students are into our program because they don't have the capacity to deal with the program. Probably Dr. Emmanuel's case may be one of those. I have had a similar case where a person just couldn't write. And I mean, I'm not a big fan of the idea that we got rid of the GRE, because at least in the GRE we demonstrate that we can write in a short period of time. And it takes time to build your ability to write, and to put that burden in faculty saying that you're not helping me graduate because they don't finish the sentence. It's their inability to write and to comprehend what is happening in the classroom that is holding them back. And my question is, how are you doing them a favor? How are you putting them in a position where they are unable to succeed and putting them in such a stressful position? The doctorate is not the ultimate in life, right? Every person can achieve their own potential according to what they have been gifted with and to which they want to aspire to. And so I am sometimes perplexed as to how many our students are even graduating.
I think maybe because as a faculty, you just see that you deal with a certain aspect of the student. But we do a holistic admission, right? So we approach it, maybe scientific is too strong a word, but we approach it with a certain science that's kind of holistic.
I understand that.
So we look at a bunch of things.
I understand that. My only thing is, I go after teaching the quantitative, methods course, and I say, that's not the thing that I need to focus on. Okay, my question is this person even logically able to think logically? and then to be able to write. I think there's two things. If you have those two things, I think you'll be able to really succeed through the doctoral program.
Okay.
Yeah, let me say that, it's not CSUSB alone that have done away with GRE.
Yeah.
The post of institutions out there because studies have shown time and time again that it's a culturally biased exam that often becomes a stumbling block to students rather than become, I mean, when I was in a private university, we had cases in which we had students who struggled with GRE, but when we use the holistic approach, they finish their program within 3 years. Because some of them is a matter of test taking skills, it's a matter of cultural issues. So we have to give one exam that kind of power to determine is very limited.
That's suggesting that.
No, but so when we say their ability to write, like the student I referenced, the issue she was dealing with was not very much a skills issue as much as it was a will issue. Was a desire, she wanted a professor to accept the bare minimum that she was presenting. And the professor had to push her out of her comfort zone to say, you can do better. And sometimes that's where that training comes from. Because a part of what we have done in this program, also in the area of writing, is providing those writing workshops, those writing opportunities that they come and they work with the instructor. So it's not like they're being thrown out there on their own.
No, but still, you know, it takes time to develop writing skills. But of course, at the beginning of the program, it's not sufficient to build somebody's writing skills. You and I and everybody else have known how long it's taken us to develop a writing skill. But we didn't come from a place where we weren't, you know, proficient from the very beginning.
And the doctoral tradition is also just, technically speaking, is supposed to be your dry run on research and academic work. We are hoping that once you go through it, it sets you up to become a more successful person. So
To me,
you can't judge.
Yeah, to me, I mostly, instead of taking maybe a deficit perspective, what is it the students can't do, or to our class actually? Our admissions puts more weight heavily on other aspects. Because what they turn into us is really good, right? So we have no way of judging, not unless I tell them, go to that room and write for 20 minutes and then let me come back and then see what you wrote. Other than that, there's no way of me, because, you know, because what they turn into us is polished work. And so, like, I don't know what else we can do to screen them for writing skills. They got, I mean, some of them are classroom teachers. They got their bachelors, they got their masters. So what else? I don't know.
You're in the writing part of me.
Yeah, but
They were done.
Yeah, we're done.
Okay, so,
We gave you guys some handouts, so we won't be able to go.
Yeah.
One other thing.
let's look at the handouts.
Yeah, and you know, many of our students are in the public schools and family offices, community colleges. And every institution is running their own research, or they're doing some implementation of programs and things like that. And what I was hoping that is, you know, we would build our connections with school districts, family offices, so that we become aware of what kinds of research they are doing, what kinds of programs they are engaged in. Because every institution wants to show progress, show improvement, right? That's the goal of every institution. We could tag, you know, with those programs, ask students to get involved in doing research with them, so that they don't struggle.
Yeah, we should be doing those kinds of things.
Yeah, because that.
Laboratories of practice.
Correct. Correct. And you know, I mean, it would be so powerful to them also, and to get IAC involved in some program evaluation of research that they are conducting at their own. institute.
Yeah, and that's in a sense, has always been one of the goals. We just haven't gotten that far yet. First we gotta get rid of paper and digitize everything. First, we gotta, make sure we hire enough staff people.
Do an audit, we did an
Our audit,
audit, we,
how's the budget look for, if you can see, if you can read off the 30 things, areas of improvement that we've
I
done.
mean, you did fantastic, I mean,
I know, so- That's barely the first floor, so we haven't built the second floor.
at this time, we have 50 students who have applied to the program, they haven't completed it, we've got about 20 that have completed. Every week I'm contacting the students who have showed interest in our program, seeing if they need a little help to finish the application, because it can be tedious. I believe we'll have a full cohort this year. Well, 22 to 25.
And we just added 14 new faculty and fellows. So now we have 100 people that we can tap into.
Please join us Saturday.
Fellows.
That's one area I want to commend you and the leadership, because it reduces what was the problem with about 3-4 years ago, when students were using the same faculty over and over.
Yes, that's what we're trying to.
That reduces the quality of the program. So thank you for that one.
Thank you, Brian, for staying the whole time, listening to us.
Thank you all.
You probably have a million things to do.
Have a great day, you guys. I appreciate you joining us. Thank you for speaking, Lisa and Thomas. We look forward to seeing you all again. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.
They do.
Yes.
Yeah, very good school district.
Yeah.